Hey guys, I'm here. Just got finished watching Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers over on Disney Plus. I did record my reaction. Right now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit it for the channel or anything like that, but it is right now on Patreon and YouTube memberships for the full length. So if you want to check that out, feel free. Cutting it down is going to be a nightmare, I will say, if I do end up posting it here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Keep our ears open. This film was directed by Akiva Schaffer and stars John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, and the iconic roles. Obviously, I know a lot of people are going to be missing the voices, the classic voices in there, but they do incorporate it in the story, so don't fret too much. I surprisingly loved this movie. As you know, or if you don't, maybe you're just tuning into this review here for the first time. You haven't seen my previous reactions to the trailers for this movie, but I was very uncertain about kind of the target demographic this movie was really going to go after, considering the reliance on nostalgia around Disney Afternoon and all kinds of stuff like that, and then some of the obvious humor that settles into the film. And I gotta say, after watching it, it's honestly, it's got something for everybody, but I think I narrowed it down at least. While this is accessible, I feel like, for general audiences, and maybe if you didn't grow up with any of this stuff, or, you know, for kids, I think it's just surface level enough that they'll get through some of the jokes just fine, but I really do feel like this is for like the late 80s and early 90s kids that grew up during this period, and even just appreciate pulp and the genre itself still to this day. There are a surprising number of things that they pull from in here, and I gotta say, the biggest star, I think, of this film is Disney's legal team. Because I don't know how they pulled off the legal gymnastics to do half of what they did in this. Obviously, there's a lot of references that we caught in the trailers that make an appearance in the movie, namely a lot of Disney stuff, as we could call out, a lot of Disney Afternoon stuff, but there's stuff Disney just straight up does not own that prominently feature throughout this thing in lots of interesting and intriguingly creative ways that they bring this to life. But I don't want to get lost in the thrill of it all. But I gotta say, the nostalgia bait, the member berries, it worked on me, man. This film, like many kind of general family films, kind of it runs the gamut. Obviously, it goes without saying, not every joke lands, not every sequence is going to hit, but I think overall, I think more land for me than don't. Honestly, there's a lot of I think a lot of a mature humor throughout this. Obviously, it's ramped down, but there's a lot of things about growing up, having moved away, having drifted apart from your family, your friends, and stuff like that, and then reconnecting, as well as like trying to find your lot in life. There's a lot of like existential, I feel like midlife crisis level things that this whole movie really kind of touches upon as far as the themes go. They also dive into a lot of things like that come with the perils of stardom and fame, as well as the descent and decline when you've lost it, the overindulgence once you have it, addiction, plastic surgery, the seedy underbelly of LA, like some black market crazy stuff they touch on in here. Like, watch out, there might be like an ice bath somewhere for you. The way they incorporate the convention scene into this film, like, and specific actors and stuff like that are clinging to their former glory, whether it be for ego or for their dedication for the fans, it kind of touches on both. It's really fun how they incorporate that into the story. And there's one thing towards the very end, which, man, I've been on that soapbox for so long. Where is it? Give it to me now. There is a pitch and a demand for something I have been wanting for so long and is supposedly in the works. And maybe that's why it's in here. Seth Rogen, I know you're working on it, or at least you were. Make it happen. I need it. Once you guys have seen the movie, you'll probably know what I mean. I just don't want to spoil anything about this film for you guys. It's a lot of fun. The premise of this and this universe, all these animated characters, they're actors. The movies we watched were movies they played in. Animated characters, whether they be puppets, and it's not just animated. Obviously, it's just any type of special effect or character exists in some way. We have stop motion characters, we have puppets, we have hand-drawn animation, we have 3D animated characters, we have full-blown CGI effects through every stage of that development, all featured prominently and exist in this world in a very Roger Rabbit way, but in a way that I feel like this, taking place in LA, they do a fantastic job at making this world feel completely integrated with this animated life. It's a living, breathing version of Los Angeles that is populated with animated characters and people. And they do it in a really interesting way. And obviously in the easy to do way, which I called out in my trailer reactions as well, my little 2D animation pet peeve is when they kind of do 3D models, but they overlay like a shader that gives it like the 2D effect, which is what they do with a lot of the 2D characters in this, which is way better for animation and doing things quick and easy on a faster budget than hand drawing all of it Roger Rabbit style. But I gotta say, there's just something that just looks way better doing it the old school way. But that, for what it is, it was just a minor nitpick, because once the movie got going, I didn't even care. And same with like the voices. I think John Mulaney and Andy Samberg did a really good job reinventing these characters who played in a TV show called Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers and played those iconic characters, though their names are Chip and Dale in real life in the film. They still played those characters and crafted those characters, and the voices that they transitioned to is their voices they came up with for those characters, which I don't know, it is a really interesting meta-contextual way to kind of shine a different light on like an old school classic. While we're on the topic of voices, the celebrity casting doesn't stop just at Chip and Dale. There's quite a few sprinkled throughout the movie, some surprise ones here and there, but there are some OG Disney voice actors that do kind of come in and reprise multiple roles throughout the film. That's a nice little step, but let's get some more VAs into these types of films, man. It kind of becomes this like VH1 where are they now story as the show got canceled, what happened to its stars as the iconic duo kind of drifted apart and went different ways as their careers just kind of deviated. It's all about them reconnecting in this wake of Toons and other animated entities being kidnapped and going missing. Somebody close to them gets wrapped up into this whole thing, and they have to team up to try to save one of their own. And it's honestly really heartwarming. It's a lot of fun, and there's no there's no frame in this movie that I don't feel like has some level of references to it throughout this whole thing. And it does its research on the Chip and Dale lore like deep, and it like gets incorporated into this in a very unique and interesting way. And I just, at the end of the day, I had so much fun with this, and I have no idea how they pulled off a lot of the stuff they did in this. And is it purely reliant on nostalgia? I would say not purely, though that is a huge part of my enjoyment of this film, and just the way they play with the genre, with pop culture, with this stardom, with these ideas of what we kind of treasure and hang on to that we grow up with. And it's just fun, man. And there's one character in particular, which I will not spoil, and be careful on Twitter right now because people are just posting it everywhere at this point, and makes an appearance in this movie. And oh my God, I am so shocked and so happy that they pulled this off and made this happen. Oh, and the fact that it became such a prominent thing in the film that wasn't just a one-off. Oh, it's so good. And I want you to see it for yourselves, man, because it's fucking hilarious. Aside from that, though, there's so many other things in here that I'm just like, I need to understand what happened in the back rooms to make these things come to reality. Yeah, man, this was a surprisingly fun, heartfelt nostalgia trip, man. Definitely fits on streaming. I definitely think that's going to be where the best kick for, but I honestly, I probably would have enjoyed seeing this in the theater as well. But man, I enjoyed it. Don't expect like a Shakespearean work of art. I don't ever do that with these types of films, but I will say I was pleasantly surprised. I felt like this movie was targeted at me, and not that I need that, but it definitely helped. Oh man. But if you've seen it, check it out. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us in our Discord. We can talk about it there as well. Links to that and all my socials down below. Follow me in each and every one of those. Before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends, Mandy Share, Ryan, Karen, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, Yori, Corey Scott, Margaret Grace, Mary Bradley, Melita, and Robert Anguiano. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. That's my thoughts on Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.